Oh, looky, looky. Oh, looky, looky. It snowed. All of... I was wrong that it snowed. All of that, about a millimetre, 2 millimetres of snow maybe. Sun's already... my garden hasn't really... you got to really zoom in to try and find any in my garden where it's sheltered. Look, that's up there. Meow. This is as bad as snow ever gets down here. No, actually, let me rephrase. It gets. It's. I knew, like, if we're going to get snow, it's most often going to look like that down here. Admittedly, from what I've seen, it looks like other places in the country got it as well, and they got just the same tiny sprinkles we did, which normally means we don't get any down here. But the difference between north and south is the worst that gets here is not much worse than that. So that may go up a little bit. Like maximum, not this won't. This will go away. If it for us here to get any decent snow, it'd be after after January. But we tend to get it more closer to spring because the hot and cold smashing into each other causes snow. So that's the way we get it down the south. But up north, compared to south, if like I say, if it was a bit colder and a bit later in the year, that could go up to a maximum of about 1 centimetre. Nothing to most people around the world. And the people in the north, if they got 1 centimetre of snow, they go, oh, it snowed, and they carry on with their life. Down here where I am, if we had 1 centimetre of snow, this is probably the most snow we'd have had in 25 years. And people, I've seen it with my own eyes, so this is not guesswork. People act like it's the apocalypse. They drive, they crash, they don't drive, they clear out the shop shelves so they don't have to go back out in it in case they're snowed in. Seriously, from 1 centimetre of snow, it goes absolutely bonkers. That's the big difference. Whereas up north, they're just like, yeah, it snowed. You know, how can you not? Yeah, how can you? So that's why they call them softies with a lot of these things, because they just look at and they're right. Look at us with snow, and we're completely bonkers down here. We're just not used to it. So, so many people will have a heart attack if they see sort of snow that could compromise your driving, even the smallest amount. They lose their shit. Like it's like the apocalypse. So, yeah. So we've got a tiny sprinkle of snow. But it's just on that limit where people are driving a bit more carefully, but not shitting themselves just yet. So had it been a bit more, but I only filmed it because it's probably been 4 years since I've seen even a sprinkle like that, and probably been 8, 9, 10 years since I've seen anything near 1 centimetre or so. So it's worth noting these little times down because it's so rare I see it. The sea just keeps it too warm down here. Anyway. Obviously, I'm doing this here because we discussed the walk and talks. So, yeah, I'm going to have to try and... Obviously, I'm still working on some things, so I will be getting to the point where I just sit down in front of a computer and we'll have a nicer background and everything else. But I just wanted to see how I felt sitting down rather than the walk and talk on today anyway. So, I just wanted to say that I think there's... I don't want to give people more reasons to be depressed, I really don't. But I think I can see what's coming here. You know, I think Vin mentioned it as well. I'm pretty sure he did. You know, that obviously the heat on the hotels is becoming such that Starmer and that have promised us they're going to stop using the hotels. And at the moment, they're not actually showing any signs of stopping using them. They're still paying exorbitant. And this is how they get the hotels, by the way. If you think people in the hotels are selling out their country, they might be. But at the same time, they're being offered more money than they can make in a season. So it's still the government, you know. But at the moment, they're still acquiring hotels and stuff like that. But we know that they're pretty much going to stop doing that. And here's what I think is going to happen. They're already, like... So we've been begging them to build properties in the UK for years. Because not only... Forget migrancy for a minute. Even without migrants, we haven't had enough... houses. People are on housing lists for 7 or 8 years, 10 years ago. Now the list goes into double digits for people to get homed, and they're probably never going to. Getting on the property ladder is impossible, and unless the economy truly crashes in a way that we can't see at the moment, that's not going to change. And as we've discussed, London's been bought up piece by piece, and your country is being sold off piece by piece. But what's kind of worse is, well, not worse, but what's kind of equally bad, perhaps more terrifying, is they're building houses for migrants, which is something I saw coming ages ago, because I knew that's how they were going to get them on the Isle of Wight, by using half-built houses that were there that were abandoned, and then finish them off. It'd be the perfect cover for putting them on the Isle of Wight. So it kind of made sense. So I've been looking for this. And they are going to start so they haven't built houses for people in their country, not many, for years and years and years, despite knowing that we were in a crisis, despite the homeless people, despite the homeless veterans, everything. It wasn't just due to lack of money for these people. In a lot of cases, it was due to lack of opportunity of home and housing. What we have in this country, there's not enough houses to go around, not enough rooms to go around. It's not just people without money that live on the streets. Sometimes it's people that just can't find anywhere to live. We have a serious problem. Then you bring migrants in and you've got an even bigger problem. So they're building houses for migrants. I mean, they might throw a few our way, but they're building houses for migrants. Now, this bit you may have already figured out, or you may already know. But what does that mean in the long run? Think about it. If they put them in houses, it gives them even more rights, because they're not in a hotel now where they've got to go in a certain amount of time or whatever else. But also, isn't this another way of selling your country out to another race, and another, well, not just to a race, to any other race other than our own? So you're basically not building people in for houses for people in your own country. You're pricing them out, but what you're doing is you're building properties for people coming from abroad who have paid nothing into this country, who are often lying about the circumstances. You're going to give them property, which means that they're then going to do what? They're then going to have certain rights, and then at some point down the, I mean, they're not going to leave that property, would you? At some point down the line, they're going to get the right to buy it, aren't they? Councils do that all the time, especially when they're going through hard times, give you the right to buy your property. They'll get that right. Make no fucking mistake. They will get that right. And what will happen is, wherever, and this is why people need to be very afraid, because you thought the hotels were bad. At least the hotels were temporary. At least using a hotel for that purpose, you know it's temporary, because everybody knows what it is. What about when it's a whole housing estate? You say now these people come out in force. What about when it's a whole housing estate? What are you going to do then? You're going to have to come out and have a fucking battle if you want them to stay in place. They're going to feel much more emboldened. They're going to bring more people in. They're going to bring the families in. The houses will be overburdened with people. So they'll have mini fucking armies in each house. And they will be able to buy their way onto the property ladder. Because there is no equal opportunities in this country. There is purely opportunities for people outside the country coming in. So the indigenous people will still not have the funds to have babies, still not have the funds to buy houses. And I'm not even talking about just white people. I'm talking about black people that live here, other people that have got rights here, who pay tax here. They will not have the rights to do any of this. But people coming in from outside the country who are unknown quantities, who are unknown motives and everything else, they will be able to come here, get property. At some point, imagine being able to buy it. Because if you're in a council house, often you'll get an opportunity to buy it. And at some point, when they've got the passport and everything else, they'll get an opportunity to buy that house, and they will be able to buy up streets at a time. Now, tell me that's not your government isn't just doubling down. My first thought was, well, the government's doubling down on the immigrants, but it's worse than that. They're just going, bollocks. If you're not going to let us do the hotels, we're just going to skip to the main plan. We're not going, this hotel thing isn't working. It's obviously not fooling anybody. Fine, let's just go to plan A. And plan A is removal of indigenous people via replacement. How can you not call it a replacement now? If these houses get built and these people get moved in them, and the indigenous people of this island still have nowhere to go, black people, white people, whatever, how can you not call it a replacement at that point? How can you not call it racist at that point? To any Brit, black or white, how can you not call it racist towards us? Whether it's a black man who's lived here and worked his whole life, or whether it's a white man that's lived here and worked his whole life, you are being a racist, and you are trying to replace both of those people. You're trying to replace their culture. You're trying to replace their labor with cheaper labor. You're trying to replace everything. And again, you can move a hotel, you can flatten a hotel. You can't move estates, and you can't move entire counties, and that's what this will end up being. Imagine if they was to build more properties around Birmingham, for instance, or places like that. Just think. And the worst of it is, you may know where, and you may not. These people in this country at the moment who are lucky enough not to have these problems come to them, this could change that for you. Where they put these places, sometimes it'll be right on the nose, right in your face. Other times, what they're doing is they're being very sly about how they do things. They'll pick an area that's really quiet and say, oh, this hasn't been built for years. The locals need more housing. And then the places go, I've seen that happen before. And then the places go up, and it goes to all the wrong people. And I just think people need to be aware of this, because it will become a lot more quiet, become a lot more legal, so it'll be harder to find these places. People really need to find these places quick, put a ring fence around them, so we all know where they are. But also realize, like, the proof of replacement of anybody in this country, black or white, if they're British, the book of replacement is there. It's not a conspiracy theory, because we're being replaced. We are being replaced. It's happening at such a speed, you can't call it anything but replacement. It's not evolution. It's not natural organic movement, because we're not moving, we're dying. Other people are moving in. So, and outbreeding and everything else. So, yeah, because, and again, whether you're black or white in this country, if you are living in this country, you've been born in this country, and you worked in this country, you probably don't have enough money to have as many children as you want. And, it's only a migrant or a really poor person that can do that, or a really rich person that can do that. So, I don't know what we do about stopping this, but one thing I do know is awareness and knowledge is the one thing that you can always do. And it's the one thing that is always necessary to have. If you don't know where these people are, you certainly don't know where the damage is coming from. And also, if you're in an area that's been unaffected, you need to know if something's coming to your area, so you can be prepared for any changes. And if you're in an area that's bad, you can be prepared for it to be worse. If you're in an area that's safe to walk through, you might need to change your route, whatever. But and also, in all fairness, people will think I'm being so bad saying this, but also watch out who's looking after your kids. As we've proven via the rape of Britain, how many people have been abused by certain demographics. This is not an opinion. This is what angers me so much about the debates they have on the news and from the left and everything else. This is not an opinion. People say, oh, there's more white paedophiles in the country than there are. We're not talking about paedophiles. And yes, every single white paedophile deserves to die. But we're talking about rape gangs, which is a very, very demographic problem. There are no gangs like that of white or Chinese or any other people. There's only a certain group of people that do that. That's not anybody else's fault but those people. That's where the statistics point every single time. And we're going to now build streets of them, or more streets for them. So this is the way we're going. Like I say, knowledge is the only power we've really got at the moment, whilst they're still ignoring petitions and everything else. Although I still, like I said yesterday, although the petitions don't work, embarrassing the government and putting pressure on them from the world might. So it's more the headlines that could be made if everybody's on board that might make a difference, not so much the actual petition itself, because petitions mean nothing. But knowledge, we need just to keep as much knowledge to inform each other when we hear of building projects, find out what they're for, everything else. And we can do it. We've done it with other things. We've done it with the hotels. We need to know this information because it's really important. If we can block it, great. If we can make sure local people get housed, local homeless people get housed, great. do everything we can to fight for those people to get housed first. Shouldn't we, like the flag that I took to Southampton Hotel, should we not house our veterans and our homeless first? Then worry about the rest of the world. House them first. Let's get them housed. The people that have gone and fought for our country, gone and served for our country, they should get first on that list of anybody. And that's the bottom line. I'm Tom Fury. This is Zero News. I'm calling it a day for now. Cheers, guys.